our anthem. Everybody get loud, we're singing with passion. So make a new sound. Fear is moving out. Everybody get loud, 'cause our God is here. I love to be here where you are. Yeah. I need you to speak to the dark. Yeah, yeah. You see me when I'm feeling lost. You hold me when the night is long. You promise that you got me. I'll take you at your word. I will wait. Won't move till you do. You make a way. Got every reason to be unafraid. All over history, you never change. So I will wait. So I will wait. I will wait. You're closer than I know you are. Oh Lord, oh Lord. I won't be shaken in the dark. No, 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 no. You see me when I'm feeling lost. You hold me when the night is long. You promise that you got me. I'll take you at your word. I will wait. Won't move till you do. You make a way. Got every reason to be unafraid. All over history, you never change. So I will wait. I will wait. I will wait. I will wait. I will. Yeah, I only got a minute. Don't be crumbs like a pigeon. But you can get up out my business. I ain't get it when I want it, so I'm losing my religion, huh? We don't even give you time to be God. TikTok world, but it got it downside. No one ever told me always running was a lie. I ain't tripping, time taking, reinvented, give me vision, God. I will wait. Won't move till you do. You make a way. Got every reason to be unafraid. All over history, you never change. I will wait for you.
Good morning, Anthem. We are so excited to worship with you this morning. I invite you to stand as we sing together.
Why did I waste so much time worrying? You've had a plan all along. I'm listening. You made a way out of deserts and rivers just yesterday. And so today, if I hear you speak, I don't need an explanation. If you tell me move, I don't need the destination. If what's promised I never see, I'm still walking with you. You're still walking with me. You're walking with me, God. Help me sing. We'll redeem all the time. Spend wandering within the fire and the cloud. I'm following, made a way out of bondage and darkness just yesterday. And so today, if you believe it, we say, if I hear you speak, I don't need an explanation. If you tell me move, I don't need the destination. What's been promised, I will believe. I'm still walking with you. You're still walking with me. And if I know one thing, our God is a deliverer. And if I know one thing, our God is gonna see us through. If I know one thing, our God is a deliverer. And if I know one thing, our God is gonna see us through. Help me say, if I know one thing, our God is a deliverer. And if I know one thing, our God is gonna see us through. If I know one thing, our God is a deliverer. And if I know one thing, our God is gonna see us. He'll see us through. Yes, He will. He'll see us through, and your family, and your children. And because of that, we can confidently say this: never alone in the battle. He'll see us through. We're never alone in the desert. He'll see us through. We're never alone in the fire. He'll see us through.
Father. He is my faithful Father. Oh, calling me out of the dark, and I cannot whisper away what He said in the light. Oh, He is my firm foundation. My anchor won't be moved. The storms may collide, but my soul is on fire with His word. So we'll listen to the sound of power on my lips. Jesus has broken the curse. He has never lost a battle. And who are you, great mountain, that you should not bow low? Jesus defeated the darkness. He has never lost a battle. And He never will, He never will. And He never will, He never will. And He never will, He never will. Declare this with us, our great defender. Our great defender. Our strong tower. He has never lost a battle. No, He has never lost a battle. Our great defender. Oh, our strong tower. Oh, He has never lost a battle. He never will. He has never lost a battle. One more time. Our great defender. And You are our strong tower. Oh, He has never lost a battle. He never will. He has never lost a battle. When listen to the sounds of power on my lips. Jesus has broken the curse. He has never lost a battle. And who are you, great mountain, that you should not bow low? Jesus defeated the darkness, and He has never lost a battle. Oh, our great defender. Oh, our strong tower. Oh, He has never lost a battle. He never will. He has never lost a battle. Our great defender. And You are our strong tower. Oh, He has never lost a battle. He never will. He has never lost a battle. Amen. Anthem, as we continue worshiping this morning, I invite you to reflect on the fact that Jesus will always be there for us no matter what. Things may change, circumstances may change, but God's faith remains the same. No matter what, He will give us the strength and the peace that we need to get us through every season. So as we go into this next song, I invite you to sing with conviction with us.
Where do I turn to? Where do I run when my mind says it's over? You say it's not done, and all of the chaos when the war has begun.
celebrate the people around us. So let's take some time and do that right now.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sabbath. My name is Rathina, and I am an elder here at Anthem. Yes, thank you, Brandon. Thank you. I just want to welcome you all to Anthem this morning, and I just have one small request of you. When I stepped into this church 4 years ago, I didn't know what I was going to find here, but to my surprise, I found a new home. And I just ask that maybe you'll consider opening your hearts this morning and see if this is some place that you might call home. And so I invite you to join me in calling this place home. And if you are new here, we have 2 ways that you can connect with us. One is by texting 55498, texting Anthem to 55498, which should be on the screens, but I will say it again, Anthem to 55498. And if you don't want to text us, that is okay. We have a tent outside following the service. You can find us out there, and we have a gift for you. We'd love to connect with you and get you something to just welcome you for joining us today. For those that are new here or have made this place their home already, you will see outside we have our coffee ministry. We have an amazing worship team. We do lots of things that go outside our walls, and that's a part of the reason why I love Anthem so much, and the way that we can continue our efforts beyond these walls and to continue to make this place special is by giving back to Anthem. So another way that you can continue to support our efforts here is by texting Anthem to 55498, selecting option 3, and there you will see our giving options. If you're anything like me and want to set up and don't want to think about making a gift beyond today and just want to set up auto pay, you can do that as well. There are baskets that will be coming around to you, and you can give cash or you can give online by doing that. If you decide to give through the app, you'll also see on the screen there's an option to give to the building fund, which I want to talk a little bit about. This beautiful space that we're in is a new building. It was not always here, and it is something that continues to allow us to worship together in a special way. And so you can give to the building fund directly on the app as well. Tonight, we have a Friendsgiving celebration from Praxis Ministries. If you're 18 to 35, this is our young adult ministry, and you can sign up online at praxisministry.org if you'd like to bring a dish. We'll have the pumpkin pie there. You can dress up in some fall fun gear, some flannel, some beige outfits, if that's your vibe. And you can do that, and there will be some fun line dancing as well. And so we also have a U-Reach weekend coming up soon, so I'm inviting Linda Mendez to come up and share a little bit about that.
Thank you, Rathina. Good morning, I'm Pastor Linda. I run the outreach programs here at our church, and those are called U-Reach. So raise your hand if you know what U-Reach is. Let's start there. All right, that's a good set of hands. U-Reach is our outreach program, and under it, we have a lot of programs. We have our homeless ministries, we have our tutoring program, Meals on Wheels, Transit, Excel, so many things all under U-Reach, 10 in total. If you've ever been to the cafe, that's also part of our U-Reach ministries. So next Sabbath, November 16th, we are going to have an outreach fair. We want to give you guys an opportunity to get involved in the community, to make an impact here in your community. And not only will we have Reach ministries available for you to sign up and get to know more about, but we will have other entities here that you can also volunteer for. We recognize that maybe Reach is not the place that you find yourself called to, and that's okay. I won't take it personally. But we do want you to get involved. We want to make sure that we can be doers of the word and that the people around this community can know who we are. And so next Sabbath, outside, you'll see the Easy Ups will be right here in the courtyard. And it'll be all giving you an opportunity to get involved. We will also have in the fellowship hall an opportunity for you to donate blood. So if that's something that you want to do, please make sure that you make your way to the fellowship hall. They will be there from 9 to 1 next Sabbath, and you can go into the fellowship hall and donate blood, because that's another good way to be able to make an impact in this world. The following Sabbath, November 23rd, is a very special Sabbath for Reach, because every year we collect an offering of thanksgiving. That offering that we collect every year helps Reach survive. I don't want to be dramatic, but literally, it helps us get through the year, finish the year strong, and it helps us to be able to continue all the ministries that we run. And so I just want to encourage you guys, next Sabbath, come ready to volunteer and to sign up for a ministry. November 23rd, come ready with an offering of thanksgiving. If God's been good to you and you want to be able to bless others, please be ready to come November 23rd with that offering of thanksgiving. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Linda. Before we invite Pastor Randy up to continue part 2 of our series, Shabbat Shalom, I'd like to just open up with a word of prayer. If you bow your heads with me. Father God, thank you so much that we could be here together in one space, worshiping you, building community, getting to meet new friends. As we're here on a Sabbath morning, we just ask that you open our hearts to receive Pastor Randy's message. Please be with him as he shares your word, and just help us to receive it in a way that we can take it into our lives through the weeks, through the months ahead. We just love you so much. Amen.
Good morning, Anthem. Good to see you all out there this morning. These are the kind of days for which we live in Southern California, right? I love these days, this time of year. So it was Friday morning, March 28, 1947, 6:55 a.m., the Bronx, New York City. Bus driver William Cirillo decided, I've had enough. The traffic, the people, the smog, I've had it. I'm done. So he got into his bus, aimed it toward New Jersey, and didn't pick up any passengers. Stopped in New Jersey for breakfast, had a nice brunch, got back in his bus, headed south toward Washington, D.C., stopped at the White House, did some sightseeing around the White House and the area of the mall in D.C., got back in his bus, headed further south. 3 days later, ended up in Hollywood, Florida. Got to Hollywood, Florida, and decided, I don't have any more money. Cost to run these buses. So he telegrammed his boss. Not sure that was the best choice. Telegrammed his boss and said, can you wire me some money? I need some money. Well, the boss responded all right. Responded by contacting the police about their missing bus. Very quickly thereafter, 2 cops and a mechanic showed up, arrested Cirillo, and said, you're done. You're headed back to New York City to face charges. But it turned out that neither the cops nor Cirillo knew how to drive a bus. And so they ended up putting Cirillo in the driver's seat and saying, we're right here. And back they went to New York City. When they got to New York City, they were stunned to discover that Cirillo had become something of a folk hero. Everybody was cheering for him. They had read about it. They knew what had happened. They were like, oh, he escaped. And they were all excited. And so the Transportation Authority decided, in light of his new celebrity, we're going to drop the charges. This is just going to be too unpopular if we try to charge him. In addition to that, his fellow bus drivers collected enough money to cover any legal expenses he might have. So the transportation authority said, well, we need bus drivers, so they gave him his job back. And for 16 more years, he drove the bus in New York City and didn't have any other episodes like that one. So they asked Cirillo, why did you do that? What happened? And he said, I just couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't take the traffic, the noise, the smog. It's like living in a squirrel cage. I can't do it. And then he summed it up by saying, I just had to get away from everything. That's an important line. I just had to get away from everything. You ever felt that way? I have just got to get away from everything. The work is never done. I left yesterday afternoon, you say, my office piled high with work yet to come. Got home and laundry piled here, and the lawn hasn't been mowed, and the bills need to be paid. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And then I look at other demands, professional ones. Or you may have said yesterday afternoon, oh my goodness, I have 3 major tests next week. This next 24-hour period that is called Sabbath by some is sheer gold for me in terms of study time. I can't do Sabbath. And you just think, I wish I could get away from everything. And the time pressures just start to close in. How recently have you thought about this thing called time? This gift that we all have exactly the same amount of it. We can't get more of it. We can cram as much as we want to into it. But at the end of the day, we're not going to get more. Time. It's constant ticking of the clock, the running out of the sands in the hourglass of the day or of our lives. I need more time. I need to get away. Well, that's what an author named David Henderson says. He writes, we can't stop talking about time. It seeps its way into nearly every conversation. According to the editors of the Concise Oxford Dictionary, time is the most frequently used noun in the English language. Imagine that. The titles of self-help books mirror our obsession with time. 1 year to a college degree, 30 days to a better life, 7 days to a brand new me, even 60-minute marriage builder. Still not quick enough to address your crisis? How about 1 minute father? 60-second stress management, the 1 minute healing experience, 1 minute therapist, or 60 seconds to serenity. Serenity now. I know what you've been watching. More than 100 titles in print use the word instant. You'll find everything from instant Yiddish to instant emotional healing. Running out of time, read instant time management. The Christian publishing world is not immune to the band of time. Among examples are 60 seconds with God, daily prayer 60 seconds long, and instant sermons for busy I got to get that last one. Instant sermons for busy. Can you imagine? Just open up. There it is. I got more time. I got away from one of the pressing demands of my life. Maybe that's what you're saying. The work is not done. It's never done. So how in the world can I think about Sabbath, of all things? Resting. It's just not realistic. It's not possible. In fact, if we were to list the reasons for which people might give for not practicing Sabbath, there would be all kinds of reasons. Some might say, well, biblically, I see it differently. I respect that. Or I'm not sure that world and this world and their differences allow us to practice Sabbath in our day and time. Well, I might disagree, but I hear you. Others might say, well, I didn't grow up with it. Or I'm at a different stage in my life. I got to study every chance I get. There are all kinds of reasons. But I think probably somewhere near, if not at the top of the list, near the top of the list, would be reasons that could fit under this one heading. The work is not done. It's not done. So how am I going to practice Sabbath? The demands of work can come from many different sources. It can come from a boss, can come from a spouse. It can come from inner compulsions. It can come from people who think they have a legal right to tell you you can't do that. It can come from many sources. The work's not done. Get busy. So as we think about stepping into that space, my question for you is this. What if God designed Sabbath as a way to respond to William Cirillo, as a way to say to him, here is a way to get away from everything every week? What if God designed it that way? So we go back several thousand years to the desert, to a man named Moses. He has led his people now for 40 years. They're on the boundaries of the promised land. They are ready to enter, but Moses will not be able to enter with them. Here on the boundaries of the land, he is going to give them deliver several addresses as he leaves them. They are his closing words. They make up what we know as the book of Deuteronomy. So here are the closing addresses of Moses to the people, embedded in which is a second iteration of the Ten Commandments, the Decalogue, deca, 10, log, words. Literally in the Bible, in the original, the Ten Commandments are the 10 words. So we know them from back in Exodus 20. That's the more common understanding and rendition. They're very much the same order, much of the same language, but there is one section that is different, and that's in the fourth commandment, the Sabbath commandment. So in Exodus 20, you may remember this. In my family, Dad had us recite it every week at Friday as the sun set. We had what we called worship, and we would say this commandment. You may remember it. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you'll labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you'll not do any work. And then it goes on to list the people, including everyone, who are not going to work on that day. That's Exodus 20. But when we come to Deuteronomy 5, the difference is in the rationale. Because in Exodus 20, the rationale is, for in 6 days the Lord created the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. So the rationale in Exodus 20 is God created, God rested. He invites you to do the same and to rest in Him. Deuteronomy 5, the rationale is different. So let's read Deuteronomy 5, starting with verse 1. This is kind of the introduction to the 10 words. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Oreb," that's Sinai. "It was not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare to you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up on the mountain. And he said, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery." So that's how Moses introduces his second iteration of the 10 words. The next verse begins the 10 Commandments. The one that interests us, though, is that fourth one, because we're talking about Shabbat. So remembering Exodus 20 as a background, listen to how he tells it in Deuteronomy 5, starting with verse 12. "Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox or your donkey or your animals, or any foreigner residing in your town, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do." Now, up to that point, generally speaking, it's quite similar to Exodus 20. But now the rationale changes. Verse 15. "Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day." So, quick reminder The rationale is different, and the rationale is this. You have just come out of 400 years of slavery. You know what it is to have a life defined by ceaseless labor. You know what that is. You know what it is to have the master say to you, I don't care how you feel, there's work to be done. God says, you know that. You're not to do that to anyone else. You're not going to have that experience yourself from this point forward, nor will you do it to others. I love the way John Mark Comer captures this. As I mentioned, I think last week, I've been really interested in this series to look at scholars, writers, theologians, thinkers, others who are not from our Seventh-day Adventist community of faith, who are from other communities of faith, to see how they think about Sabbath. John Mark Comer is one such person, not a Seventh-day Adventist, but has very distinct feelings about Seventh-day Sabbath. Listen to what he writes in his book. I love the title. Actually, I hate the title. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Here's what he writes. In Exodus, the Sabbath command is grounded in the creation story, in the rhythm that God built into the world, a rhythm we tap into for emotional health and spiritual life. That's the reason to Sabbath. But in Deuteronomy, the command is grounded in the Exodus story, in Israel's freedom from slavery to Pharaoh and his empire. That's a whole other reason to Sabbath. Why the change? Well, this was the first generation to grow up in freedom. Their parents were slaves, and their grandparents, and their great-grandparents. Slaves to an empire that had been devouring human beings. One brick, one pyramid, one edifice at a time for centuries. An empire with an appetite so ravenous that they had to build store cities just to store all their extra stuff. An empire driven by lust for more. Translation, the work's never done. And Egypt, like every empire since, was an economic system built on the backs of the oppressed. To get the lavish, opulent luxury of a Pharaoh, you need cheap labor. You need slaves grinding their bodies into the ground until there's nothing left but ash and dust. Slaves don't get a Sabbath. They don't even get a day off. They work all day, every day until they die. Slaves are subhuman, a line item on a spreadsheet, bought and sold like a commodity, a means to whatever end the rich and powerful see fit. All that matters is the bottom line. And Egypt, my friends, is alive and well. We live in the thick of it. The work's not done. Get to work. Now, sometimes that comes from within our own minds, our own experiences. We look at all we have to study, at the paper we have to write, at the pile on the desk, and in our minds, there's a voice that says, get to work. What are you talking about, Sabbath? That's 24 hours. You could get so much of this done. The work's not done. But other times, it comes from the pharaohs in our lives. Get to work. I want to invite Michael Rowland, friend here at Loma Linda University Church, to come up. Michael, I'm delighted to have you here today. Michael has joined my wife Anita in prayer ministry here at LLUC over the years, and was willing to come and talk with us today, Michael. Just so you're aware, Michael has written a book called Sabbath at Sea that tells his story. So we're going to hit just a few brief highlights this afternoon, 3:30 here in this very space, also available online on our website, but we'd love to have you in person. Michael will unpack the full story. But Michael, just a few insights into that. So let's start out a little bit with your background.
I'm a member of the Northridge Adventist Church in the San Fernando Valley near Los Angeles. I used to work in computers and design, so now I do volunteer work in the church with computer and design and prayer ministry.
Beautiful. And I've seen your work. It's exceptional. So you didn't grow up with a Sabbath like we've been talking about, but came to it. Some highlights of how that happened.
I was attending Sunday school at about 9 or 10 years of age when the lesson for that day was the Ten Commandments. And as they were teaching the Ten Commandments, and they came across the Sabbath commandment, I raised my hand and asked, why, if it says the seventh day, do we go to church on the first day? And the only answer the teacher really gave me was, well, some people still do. That didn't really satisfy my curiosity, but that...
So kind of a seed of a question
Yes.
was planted there
Absolutely.
that years later you would
Yes.
come to kind of resolve.
In high school, a neighbor offered handout Bible studies. He was a Seventh-day Adventist, so it was in the course of taking that study that I learned the truth about the Sabbath. And I was really happy to learn that. But I didn't do much with it. I just processed the truth and continued not becoming a member of the church or anything. And my lifelong dream was to join the Navy. So after I graduated from high school, I joined the Navy.
So you come from a military family, and this was going to be a line of work
Yes.
which you were not only going to enter, but were going to really enjoy.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
Excellent.
Very much. But when I was stationed in San Diego taking electronics classes, I noticed my decisions in life were not the kind of decisions I had made previously. I was making careless ones. And as I was taking inventory of those decisions, I was in my room, and I just dropped to my knees and started praying, and I cried out to the Lord. I said, Father, what is it that I've done that I don't sense your presence in my life? And as if I heard the words, this thought came very clearly in my mind, and it was, all your life you have wondered about my Sabbath day, and I finally showed it to you, and you've done nothing about it.
Wow.
And
That must have been fairly shocking to have that kind of experience.
it was convicting.
Mm.
You know, it was convicting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just prayed. I said, well, Father, I can't keep your commandment now because I'm in the Navy. But if you take care of me, Lord, until I get out, I promise that I will seek out a Sabbath-keeping church and worship on your Sabbath.
Now, the beautiful thing is that when you interacted with your Navy superiors, they said, we'd be happy to have you practice Sabbath.
No. When I was counseled to go to the executive officer, which is in second command to the captain, and to inform him of my decision. And when I informed him, he told me that there was no way that the Navy could accommodate my conviction, and that if I continued to pursue on the course that I was on, that eventually he and I would lock horns.
Now, I haven't served, I haven't been in the military, but I would have to guess if there's something I don't want to hear from my superior in the service is to say, you and I are going to lock horns.
I don't want to hear it. I've never heard that phrase come out so quickly. It's like,
wow.
I just knew something was going to happen.
So up ahead of that, you're going to be on a nuclear sub.
Yes.
And so there's nowhere to go.
There is nowhere to go. Even if they try to find a place. They actually tried to find a place for me eventually.
So here you are on this nuclear sub,
Yes.
your conviction in Sabbath,
Yes.
and you have somebody in your life over here saying you're not doing that.
That's correct.
So we're going to pick up this afternoon at 3:30, and we're going to hear the whole story that Michael tells in his book about that. I hope you join us. Michael, thank you for setting the stage in that way. Sincerely appreciate that and look forward to this afternoon. Thank you so much. What Michael's story underlines is that there are those moments in our life. John Mark Comer calls it Egypt, the empire. I don't know what it might be in your life or in mine. Sometimes it may literally be that. It may be the quote-unquote empire that says, no way, you and I are going to lock horns on this if you try to do that. But for many of us, it's something different than that. It's just that realization, my work is not done. piles on desks, email boxes so full that we're getting notices that we've overrun our storage account, tests coming up, stress of anything else in life, family demands, and you just say, I can't do Sabbath. And yet, in the middle of that, we see this bus driver, William Cirillo, no doubt whistling a tune as he drives south toward Florida. Had to get away from it all. And finally, I can breathe. What if God says, I have a way that you can do that consistently? So we've considered the two expressions in the Decalogue of the Sabbath, Exodus and Deuteronomy. Just one more piece on that. Take note that the Exodus expression of that command has a clearly vertical dimension to it. It has to do with how we relate to the God above us. It is seeking to follow in his footsteps and his example. He rested, so we rest. That vertical relationship with God is one that on Sabbath we experience by saying, Lord, I'm going to act in faith. I'm going to act in trust. That this pile will still be there. That you'll help me focus when I pick it up 24 hours from now. That you will give me such rest in this period of time that my mind will be more sharp for my studies. My energy will be more robust for my work. It's an act of trust, Lord. It is something in which I am following you, and I'm following you in faith. That's the vertical dimension of Exodus 20. We enter into his rest. We experience his blessings. We come to know his joy. Now we come over to Deuteronomy 5. And it is not so much the vertical dimension, though that is there. What is most clear is the horizontal dimension that says, now, Sabbath has to do with your relationship to those around you. It has to do with making certain that everybody on Sabbath is on equal footing. Everybody. Whether you occupy the C-suite or you clean the C-suite. Whether you're in the boardroom or the mailroom. Everybody is equal here. To no one will you say, get to work, the work's not done. That, says God, I prohibit. Because my kingdom is not about empire building. It's about building human beings. Kneading into them the spirit for which I first created them. That's what Sabbath is. In fact, years ago, one British prime minister, imagine this, said Sabbath, as he came to understand Sabbath, Harold Macmillan, he said Sabbath is the most revolutionary act of civil statement of the importance of the working class that I've ever read. Sabbath. That's the horizontal dimension. How might your life change? How might my life change if we recognize that? Here's one example, one very simple example. When I came to this church, when Anita and I came here years ago, first as members, later joining the pastoral team, we came to a church on a university campus that had made a direct, deliberate decision. Here at church, we are all on a first name basis. Whatever you may be up in the hospital, whatever you may be on the campus, we respect that. We respect the culture there. Here, first name basis. That was a shift for me because I came first from the hospital and then from the university. That was my working environment. I knew so many people as doctor, people who could have been my parents. And suddenly, I was walking around with people younger than I was, and I was young at the time, calling them by their first name, and I was like, ooh. But that's what this is saying. Sabbath, we're all equal. This is the horizontal nature of this reality called Sabbath rest. We enter into a space where no one dominates and no one is subjugated. 24-hour reminder that we have only one God, only one true superior, and the rest of us are equal. Sabbath. but to experience it, to practice it, to get away from everything, as Cirillo said. You have to act in faith. Why? Because the work is not done. You're going to have to trust that God will get you through. So one more quote from John Mark Comer on Sabbath. I love this quote. His wife is named Tammy, but he calls her T, just T. So that's who he's referring to in this piece. Also from his book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. He writes, when T and I were first married, back in the glory days of Dink, double income, no kids, she bought me a motorcycle for Christmas. Yes, the wifery is awesome. So naturally, I had to reciprocate. A few months later, for our anniversary, I bought her a Vespa, brand new, sky blue, happiness on wheels. I had to get a motorcycle endorsement on my license before I could even test drive my bike, but not T. Her Vespa had this device called a governor on it. You know what that is? I didn't. Turns out it's a little cap on the engine that keeps it from going over 50 miles per hour. Under Oregon law, as long as a moped can't go over 50, you don't need a motorcycle endorsement. You see where this is going. The Sabbath is like a governor on the speed of life. All week long we work. We play, we cook, we clean, we shop, we exercise, we answer text messages, we inhabit the modern world, but finally we hit a limit. On the Sabbath, we slow down. More than that, we come to a full stop. One of the surprising things I learned when I began to practice Sabbath is that to really enjoy the seventh day, you have to slow down the other 6 days. You can't go 90 miles an hour all week, running pedal to the floor, harrowing your soul to the bone for 6 days straight, and then expect to slam on the brakes for Sabbath and immediately feel awesome. You have to find the rhythm. Because the Sabbath isn't just a 24-hour time slot in your weekly schedule. It's a spirit of restfulness that goes with you throughout your week. A way of living with ease, gratitude, appreciation, peace, and prayer. A way of working from rest, not for rest, with nothing to prove. A way of bearing fruit from abiding, not ambition. As Brueggemann said so eloquently, people who keep Sabbath will live all 7 days differently. That's why, this is not a Seventh-day Adventist, may I remind you, writing. That's why the Sabbath is on day 7, not day 3 or 4. It's not a break in the week to rest up so we can get back to what really matters, work. It's the climax, the apogee, what the entire week has been leading up to. If you aren't practicing Sabbath, you're missing out on the best day of the week, bar none. Rest. Getting away from it all, even if you can't drive your bus all the way to Florida. Every week. And it's not just you, but the people you love and care about, or it may be the people you work for, or who work for you. Or it may be you as a professor remembering that in your classes. I don't know where the pressure comes from for you. For Michael, it came from a Navy officer. For Cirillo, it came from just the crush of life around him. For you, it may come from the pressure to study. I got to take advantage of these hours. I don't know where that pressure comes from, but somewhere the pressure is saying to you, the work's not done. So get busy. And then along comes Moses. And he says, you remember 40 years ago when I talked with you about the vertical dimension of Sabbath? Because you needed it. You needed to remember that you had a God. After 400 years of having him blotted out from your experience. But now, I want to talk to you about others. Remember the life you had back there? No more. Whether the work is done or not, you get to rest. And whether the work is done or not, everybody around you gets to rest, even your animals. That way, you can have a life in which you thrive, which you enjoy. So I have some bad news And I have some good news. And then I have a wish for you. Here's the bad news. The work will never be done. Not until you have 8 friends carrying your handles. The work will never be done. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. God created Sabbath for those times when, and maybe especially for those times when the work's not done. Created it for you as a way to get away from all the pressure, to rest in Him, and to thrive in human community. That's the good news. And the wish? Well, in light of that, here's my wish. Shabbat Shalom. May you flourish.
Amen. Anthem, I invite you to stand with us one more time as we sing again this morning.
Look at the flowers and all of their beauty. I don't have to wonder, you know what you're doing. Yes, that's true. So why would I worry at all? 'Cause you're faithful to supply everything I need, everything I need. My Father has it, my Father has it. And every single time the Lord will provide. My Father has it, my Father has it. Yes, oh yes He does. My Father has it. Yes, I trust. Look at the sparrow, lacking for nothing. Oh, no fear of tomorrow and what it will bring. Oh, you are enough. If I have you, I have enough. 'Cause your love will satisfy. Oh, everything I need, and everything I need. I know my Father has it, my Father has it. And every single time the Lord will provide. My Father has it, yes, my Father has it, yes. Oh, my Father has it. Seek first the kingdom and its treasures. Everything else, it will be added. All that I'm needing. Yes, I know the Lord will provide. Oh, I know my God's not empty-handed. He gives us blessings upon blessings. I'm still believing.
you this morning. If you're in need of prayer, we will have a prayer team available for you in the front. Other than that, we love you so much, and we'll see you next week.